Testing. Oh, too loud. All right, Shalom, Israel. Shalom, Yabashim, Yashab, Rakam to the brothers. Shalom, Hawashim, Al-Gab, Hashem, Yashab to the sisters. We at the ISCPK, Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, start out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. We are not affiliated with any other Hebrew Israelite group. Oh, the water. Goes a little bit. It's like a glare. That's fine. Yes, fine. Water. So the topic today, right? We're going to be going over the power of the truth, false prophets, and basically the whole point of this class is going to be talking about how powerful the truth truly is. A lot of us, again, we're born into Esau's kingdom. The world has been given into the hands of the wicked, and we have to compromise a lot. A lot of those things you have to compromise is your morals. Right. A lot of these morals tie into the law, statutes, and commandments that so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans must keep. It's really just morals, and when we get away from those morals, some bad things start happening. That's why we're here where we are today. You go through Deuteronomy, you read through all the curses. Many times throughout the Bible, it tells you literally exactly what happens if you choose to go against the Most High. Right. And sadly, now we are in the state that we are now. So now the question is, okay, how do we get up out of that? And also, what is the meaning of the truth, and how powerful is the truth? What is the true meaning of it? So that's pretty much going to be the topic for today. You got anything else before?
All right, sir. I'm ready.
All right. So with that, me and the brother up here, we're going to begin with the prayers in a second. So with that, Amadium, this is me and the brother up here. Which means to Israel in the Hebrew. Sorry, it's me. Sorry. Sorry, it's me. Yeah. Come on, sir. All right, sorry. All right, Mariam upon Yahakwadam, which means to rise or stand and face the east. We're going to begin with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Sisters, remember to have your heads covered. Brothers, remember to have your heads uncovered. We're doing the prayers in class. That being said, this is the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanaw, Shemaim, Wadash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Balakah, Taba'ah, Zaka, Hayah, Aisha, Baratazah, Kawah, Hayah, Shemaim, Damanaw, Come, call, Yawam, Salakna, Wafna, Salakna, Wafina, Bala, Tabayano, Sawan, Ball, Shaiwa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Malakwa, Allah, Para, Lumium,
The Lord's Prayer in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Amen.
Hakak is the power of the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Hashem.
Basham.
Yahushai.
Yahushai.
Okusha.
Okusha.
Zalanawa.
Zalanawa.
Hakak.
Akat.
Hakak.
Akat.
Barba'a.
Ba'ara'ah.
Ko.
Call.
Makala.
Makala.
Ko.
Call.
Marwa.
Marwa.
Hakak.
Akat.
Tahar.
Natahar.
Ha.
At.
Madazariah.
Mazazoriah.
Hakak.
Akat.
Laquayim.
La'akarim.
Matthew.
Matthew.
Hakak.
Akat.
Al.
Al.
Wath.
Makwat.
Allah.
Taba'ala.
Garshon.
Darshan.
Basham.
Basham.
Yahushai.
Yahushai.
The water.
The water. Amen. The power in the English. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of
In the
Yahushai.
name of Yahushai.
Please give us the power.
Please give us the power.
The power to heal
Power to heal.
all manner of sickness
All men of sin.
and all manner of disease.
All men of disease.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
Power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to raise the dead.
Power to raise the dead.
The power against unclean spirits.
Power against unclean spirits.
To cast them out.
Cast them out.
In the name of
In the
Yahushai.
name of Yahushai.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it. The blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Wa Yahushai.
Yahushai.
Wa Mi'aka Allah.
Allah.
Wa Alahayim.
Wa
Wa
Ahayim.
Zab Ya'ah.
Wa Tazaba'ah.
Ala Wak Yahana.
Allah Wap Yahana.
Ala Wakim.
Allah Wap
Hasarunyim.
Hasarunyim.
Hakwatazayoyim.
Hakwatazayoyim.
Hakayayoyim.
Hakayoyim.
Wa Akwathim.
Wa'athim.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Wa Hashem.
Basham.
Yahushai.
Yahushai.
The water.
The water. Amen. The blessings in the English. Bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahushai.
And Yahushai.
And Michael.
And Michael.
And the angels.
And the angels.
Commander General Yahweh.
Command General Han.
The generals.
General.
The captains.
Captain.
The officers.
Officer.
The troopers.
Troop.
And the sisters.
And sister.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of
In the
Yahushai.
name of Yahushai.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah.
Asha'ah.
Hayenya.
Ayanya.
All. Kahoyim.
Kaharyam.
Mayan.
Mayan.
Yaba'ah.
Yaba'ah.
Zoya.
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 Aim.
Ayam.
Howard.
Lahawa.
Shah.
Asha.
Shemayim.
Shemayim.
Baratza.
Baratza.
Oyathan.
Mayatad.
Mawat.
Mamawat.
Gorka.
Gorka.
All.
All.
Yalawam.
Yalawam.
Shamarka.
Shamarka.
Na.
Anad.
La'ah.
La'ah.
Yalawam.
Yalawam.
Wala'ah.
Wala.
Yasham.
Yashan.
Shamamar.
Shamamar.
Sha'ala.
Yasha'ala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Shamarka.
Shamarka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Tazalka.
Tazalka.
Yad.
Wayat.
Bibika.
Bagiyamka.
Yababab.
Yabawam.
Hashamash.
Hashemash.
La'ah.
La'ah.
Yakaka.
Yakakat.
Wairak.
Wairak.
Wailah.
Wala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamor.
Yashamar.
Call.
Bukal.
Right.
Right.
Yashamor.
Yashamar.
Athna Pashka.
Pashka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamor.
Yashamar.
Taza Athka.
Taza Afka.
Wabba wa Athka.
Baba Afka.
Maika.
Maika.
Wa I.
I
will.
I will. Psalms 121 in the English. I will lift up mine eyes
I will lift up my eyes
unto the hills.
to the hill.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from the
My
Lord,
help cometh from the Lord,
which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth
He
thee
that keepeth thee
will not
will
slumber.
not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth
he
Israel
that keepeth Israel
shall neither slumber
shall not slumber
nor sleep.
nor sleep.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by
The
day,
sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
The Lord shall preserve
The
thee
Lord shall preserve thee
from all
from
evil.
all evil.
He shall preserve thy
He
soul.
shall preserve thy soul.
The Lord shall preserve thy going out
The Lord shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in
and thy coming in.
from this time forth
This time forth
and even
and even
forevermore.
evermore. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim.
Alahayim.
All. Dama Yalaka.
Taliyalaka.
All. Fakarash.
Shakarash.
All.
Wa'al.
Tashakwat.
Tashakwat.
All. Kaya.
Kaya.
Bana.
Bana.
Awayabika.
Ayiyamyaka.
Yahama.
Yahama.
Yawan.
Yawan.
Ra'ash.
Ra'ash.
Ay.
Ay.
Amaka.
Amaka.
Ya'ayim.
Ya'ayim.
Sawadah.
Sabadah.
Waida.
Wa'ada.
Yatazawa.
Yatazawa.
Ay.
Ow.
Tazapawanya.
Tazapawanyaka.
Amal.
Abal.
Lakawa.
Lakawa.
Wanakaki.
Wanakaki.
Wagoya.
Yagoya.
Wala.
Wala.
Yazakor.
Yazakar.
Sham.
Sham.
Yasha'ala.
Yasha'ala.
Awda.
Awada.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Nawa.
Nawa.
Atazawa.
Atazawa.
Laba.
Naba.
Yakawa.
Yakawa.
Alika.
Alika.
Baryaf.
Farah.
Yakarathwa.
Bakwafi.
Ahoya.
Ahoya.
Adawam.
Adawam.
Wa.
Wa.
Yashima Ali.
Yashima Ala.
Mawa Abba.
Mawa Abba.
Wahagoya.
Wahagoya.
Gabal.
Gabal.
Wa'amuwan.
Wa'amuwan.
Wa'amala.
Wa'amala.
Palashah.
Falashah.
Amishad.
Amishad.
Tazawar.
Tazawar.
Gum.
Gum.
Ashawar.
Ashawar.
Nalawa.
Nalawa.
Imam.
Ayman.
Iwa.
Aywa.
Zawar.
Tazawar.
Labunya.
Labunya.
Watts.
Kawat.
Salah.
Salah.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Laham.
Laham.
Kamadya.
Kamanya.
Kasaya.
Kasiyah.
Sarah.
Sarah.
Kayamya.
Kayam.
Barakor.
Malkar.
Yashwan.
Yashwan.
Shah Mawa.
Mashah Mawat.
Bayan.
Bayan.
Dara.
Dara.
Iwa.
Aywa.
Daman.
Daman.
Adama.
Radama.
Shadamu.
Shadamu.
Wada.
Wada.
Wa.
Namawa.
Kaira.
Kaira.
Kazab.
Kazab.
Kazaba.
Kazabat.
Kazomina.
Kazomina.
Call.
Call.
Nasyakamor.
Dasha Lamar.
Shar.
Shar.
Marwa.
Omar.
Yarasha.
Yarusha.
Wa.
Banawat.
Af.
Ah.
Nawaf.
Yawaf.
Alahaya.
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 Shayatambu.
Shayatambu.
Kagogala.
Quash.
Lapunya.
Raka'a.
Ka'ash.
Ka'ash.
Tabaira.
Yaira.
Wa.
Kalahaba.
Salahat.
Haryam.
Kun.
Kun.
Taradat. Asairu.
Azar.
Wasak.
Lamsak.
Apafka.
Tabahalam.
Wala'a.
Wala.
Panyahum. Palawan.
Kalawan.
Waya. Washwa.
Kashwa. Shamka.
Yahweh.
Yabashwa.
Waya. Bahawa. Adi.
Waya.
Parwa.
Waya.
Ababu.
Waya.
Daiwa. Kaya.
Atha.
Shimka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh. Labaka.
Aliwan.
Alcohol.
Aratazah. Psalms 83 in English. Keep not thy silence, O God.
Keep not thy silence, O God.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still, O God.
And be not still, O God.
For lo, thine enemies make a tumult.
And
they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. And consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come and let us cut them off. Being a nation. That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom. And the Ishmaelites. Of Moab. And the Hagarenes. The Baal. And Ammon. And Amalek. The Philistines. With the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites. As to Sisera. As to Jabin. At the brook of Kasan. Which perished at endure. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb. And like Zaid. Yea. All their princes as Zabah. And as Amun. Who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. Oh my God. Make them like they will. As the stubble before the wind. As the fire burneth the wood. And as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest. And make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame. That they may seek thy name. O Lord, let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish. That men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth.
Sorry, excuse me. You may be seated. All right, so we're going to be reading out of the book of Psalms, chapter 25, verses 1 through 7. For those who may be unfamiliar with the Sabbath service, we read the first verses in the Hebrew, first 7 verses in the Hebrew, then we give the breakdown in the English. You get yourself a Tanakh. I'm going to start with Psalms chapter 25, verse 1. Let's see. Ba'a, Ladaya'a. Let me see. No. Ladawda, Alahayan, Yahweh, Lapa, let's say, Napashar, Asha, Alahaya, Ka'an, Bata Kafya, or Abba Sha'a, or Ya'ai, Lataza Ya'a, Aiba'a, Layab. How do you see? Gum, Ka'o, Kwaya'an, La'a, Yabasha'a, Yabasha'an, Yaka Gadayam, Ra Kwa'am, Darabayan, Yahweh, Ya'aya, Arakathayan, Lakadanya, Kadaranaan, ba mathai, sorry, tha'an, yala ma'ad nya, kaya atha alaya yasha'ai, ayatha'an, kwa thaya, ko'o, ka, ya zabar, rakama'a Yahweh, yakatad ya'an, ka'a, ma'ai la'am, ka, hama'a, kata'a ya'ath, na'ai da'am, yapasha'ai, o ta ka'ar, ka'atadaya, zaba'ar, laya, atha, lama'ai, ta ba'an Yahweh. All right, so that's it for the first 7 verses in the Hebrew. So we're going to read out of Psalms chapter 25 and verse 1.
The book of Psalms chapter 25 verse 1. Unto thee, O Lord, do I lift up my soul. O my God, I trust in thee. Let me not be ashamed. Let not mine enemies triumph over me. Yea, let none that wait on thee be ashamed. Let them be ashamed which transgress without cause. Show me thy ways, O Lord. Teach me thy paths. Lead me in thy truth, and teach me. For thou art the God of my salvation. On thee do I wait all the day. Remember, O Lord, thy tender mercies and thy loving kindnesses, for they have been ever of old. Remember not the sins of my youth, nor my transgressions. According to thy mercy, remember thou me for thy goodness' sake, O Lord.
So we'll stop right there real quick, right? I'm going to do a quick little recap. So in verse 5, it says, lead me in thy truth and teach me, for thou art the God of my salvation. So you got to understand something, that there is nothing more powerful than the Most High. You need to understand that, right? But a lot of us, we forget that. We take it for granted. We do. We take it for granted every single day. We are worried about what can kill us in the flesh and not in the spirit.
Right.
That's what we're concerned about. So when he says, lead me in thy truth, well, the truth of what? What is this truth that is being spoken of? It also says that God, thou art the God of my salvation. On thee do I wait all day. Remember, O Lord, thy tender mercies and loving kindness, for they have been ever of old.
Right.
So again, referencing the Most High and understanding the power of the truth, because you following the law, statutes, and commandments, you following in the body of Christ, right? That is the truth. And we don't understand that because we are here in the flesh. Our forefathers have sinned and we're in captivity. And we want to follow other things. We want to obey other things. You want to obey man. You have a problem with the Bible, but, Lord, behold, the white man makes a law saying that, you can't run a stoplight.
You adhere to it.
You're going to adhere to it, Carl. You're going to adhere to it because you understand that there are consequences for breaking the law.
Right.
And the law, statutes, and commandments are no different, because what is sin? What is sin? Sin is a transgression of the law. All right. So, you breaking the law here, you don't think there's not going to be any consequences? You don't think you're going to suffer or go through something because you choose to smoke weed, you choose to be a pedophile, you choose to be a child molester, you choose to be part of the LGBTQ community, you choose to sit here and get tattoos and eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. I mean, come on, this is like the basic stuff we know, right? So we all know these things. You don't think that there's any consequences for your actions because you don't embody the truth. If I could, you go to verse 8.
Come on, sir. Verse 8. Good and upright is the Lord.
Good and upright is the Lord. Keep going.
Therefore will he teach sinners in the way.
In the way of what? The truth. Because the truth is the thing that's going to make you change. Keep going.
Verse 9. The meek will he guide in judgment, and the meek will he teach his way.
Keep going.
Verse 10. All the paths of the Lord are mercy and truth.
And what?
And truth.
Keep going.
Unto such as keep his covenant and his testimonies.
As keep his covenant and his testimonies, meaning again, what? You're keeping the law that was given unto you, so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. But of course, you don't want to keep these things. You think you live in what they be saying nowadays? I'm gonna live my truth. That's what they be saying. Yeah, I'm gonna live my truth. This is my truth. This is like your truth is it's fake. I want to say something else, but I can't because of community guidelines. But to put it lightly, your truth is a lie. You know, because what is it? Isaiah chapter 30, where it says, you wanted to be told smooth things.
Right.
You don't want to be told the truth. Keep what you got.
I wanted to get out. I want to hit the part where you say, you don't think there is a repercussion for you. Well, there is a repercussion for you when you break the law. We know through 1 John that sin is the transgression of the law, and we also know that when sin has completed, it brings forth death. So I would like to get to Saul, if I may.
Go ahead.
A couple of precepts.
Go ahead.
The book of 1 Chronicles chapter 10. 1 Chronicles chapter 10, verse 1. Now the Philistines fought against Israel, and the men of Israel fled from before the Philistines and fell down slain in Mount Gilboa. And the Philistines followed hard after Saul and after his sons. And the Philistines slew Jonathan and Abinadab and Malchishua, the sons of Saul. Verse 3. And the battle went sore against Saul, and the archers hit him, and he was wounded of the archers. So Saul is battling with the Philistines, him and the men that follow him, and his sons. All his sons have already been murdered. Saul has now been hit with a bow and arrow from the archers. Verse 4. Then said Saul to his armor bearer. An armor bearer is like your right-hand man, your number 2. That's the man that puts on your armor. That's the man that's going to ride with you or die with you. That's his boy. Verse 4. Then said Saul to his armor bearer, draw thy sword and thrust me through therewith, lest these uncircumcised come and abuse me. But his armor bearer would not, for he was sore afraid. So Saul took a sword and fell upon it. Saul was so nervous of what could happen to him if he was captured. You know how things go when you're a prisoner of war. They can torture you. So Saul did not want to go through that. So Saul told his number 2 in command, to kill him. The armor bearer, his number 2, said, "No, I'm not going to do that," because he was afraid to do that. Why? Because Saul was his leader. He followed Saul. He was a servant of Saul. I can respect that. Verse 5. And when his armor bearer saw that Saul was dead, he fell likewise on the sword and died. So the armor bearer, just like Saul did, he killed himself with the sword because he didn't want to go through being a prisoner of war to the Philistines, the uncircumcised, the heathen. Verse 6. So Saul died, and his 3 sons and all his house died together. Now I'm going to get to the point that I wanted to make. He brought up how when you transgress the law, you die. You think you don't. You think you have no repercussion to it, because I know what it says, because judgment doesn't come speedily. You think to keep doing wickedness and keep doing evil. Well, the Lord is going to get you, and we're going to prove it right here. That's why in Romans 15:4 it said everything that was written aforetime was written for our learning. It was written for our learning, so you can see the greatness that we do, but you also can see the mistakes that we do. So you can not go through those same mistakes or not do those same things. They say a hard head make a soft behind. Why do it when you don't have to do it, when you see the repercussions of these men? I don't sell drugs because I know if I sell drugs, I'm going to jail. I don't murder because I know I'm going to prison. That's what you should be like. But anyway, to my point, the book of 1 Chronicles chapter 10, verse 13. So Saul died for his transgression. I'm going to read that again. So Saul died for his transgression, which he committed against the Lord. He didn't commit this transgression against Esau and their rulership. He committed this transgression against the Lord, even against the word of the Lord, which he kept not. The word of the Lord, the truth of the Lord is the law. Psalms 119, 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. I read that scripture so much I don't got to look at it no more. Anyway, even against the word of the Lord, which he kept not, and also for asking counsel of one that had a familiar spirit to inquire of it. Verse 14, and inquired not of the Lord. Therefore he slew him and turned the kingdom unto David, the son of Jesse. Point is, man, the Lord killed the king of Israel. The king of Israel, Saul. Why? For his transgression against the Lord. You think the Lord won't kill you for your transgression?
And what is this transgression that he made against the Lord? You already know there's one key word you already know I'm looking for.
Which one you want?
I don't think it says it in there, but I'll give you a hint. It's 1 John 3 and 4.
Do you own it? Let me go first, because it's already right there.
Yeah.
There's actually a precept that I want. The book of 1 John chapter 3, verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin,
what is that?
Transgresseth also the law. For
law.
sin is the transgression of the law.
If I may, what the brother just brought out. So, like, he's talking about Saul. Like, Saul had to suffer transgressions for the sins that he committed against the Most High. Right. He did a lot of things. At one point, I'm paraphrasing. At one point, Saul was king, right? He was Benjamin. He was actually made out of the Lord's anger because we were very ungrateful. All these other nations had all these kings and stuff, and we wanted to be just like them. We worried about what's on everybody else's plate, not understanding that we have a literal God that we serve. But of course, the Lord is kind of like, okay, I'm gonna teach you a lesson. So he made king, Saul, who was wicked. Like, the thing is, we talk a lot about King David, King Solomon. The sad part is that there's a lot more wicked kings than there were righteous kings in Israel. Right. And one of them, probably the most famous one, was Saul. Before there was David, there was Saul. Saul was very arrogant. You got to understand, there was no king of Israel before him at this time period. So he's full of himself. He got all this power. Can't nobody really tell him nothing, so he thinks. So at one time, he was given an order. He was told that he was supposed to slay all the Amalekites, right? And that's what he was supposed to do. And it seems like a simple order, right? Why would you not want to slay your enemies? Right. Well,
and everything that was there.
Everything. So no, you're right. You're supposed to slaughter everything. We were at war at this time, right? That's what the Most High wanted. Well, Saul did what he wanted to do. Right. And he kept them as prisoners. He took some of the livestock, and that's not what he was supposed to do. Right. So prophet told him, long story short, since you don't want to listen to the Most High, the Most High going to raise a better man than you. Right. And Saul was so, his power is now about to be taken away from him. He grabs the garment of the brother and he tears it. That's crazy. Because he's so desperate. Like, no, but this is already said and done. You're going to suffer the transgressions because you have sinned against the Most High. When David, this is before King David, when he was being brought up, right? And this was a man who was said at one point to be after the Lord's own heart. He was a very righteous brother. Him and Jonathan were very good friends. Jonathan was actually Saul's son, right? Very good friends. And on multiple occasions, I know this must have hurt David. Like, they don't talk about it that much, but it hurt. Think about, you serve a brother, right?
Serve their brother.
You serve this brother. This is the king of Israel at this time, right? Right. And you got a lot of recognition. Right. The whole nation love you. It's like, for my language, you that nigga.
You right? That nigga, right.
But, this person that is supposed to be your superior, they hate you so much that they try to kill you. Right. On multiple occasions. But David was so righteous. You want to know what he did? He rolled up on, I'm giving the brief version. He rolled up on Saul one time. And he cut a piece of his garment off and said, hey, look, I could have got you, but I didn't.
And let him
leave. This is the same man, Saul, who thought he had David and drove it. I don't know. Y'all ever see track and field? Ever see a javelin? like a big spear, right? And you gotta think this man and so hard that it went through the wall. That's a strong dude.
That's not these the walls.
Yeah, nah, this is like stone,
bro. That
like he was strong to do that, but long story short, Saul was very wicked.
And it's like, if I may,
Go ahead.
Even in verse 2, how you just brought out how David and Jonathan was close friends. That's his best friend, really, when you think about it. Jonathan died. Jonathan got murdered because of Saul's transgression. Not because of what he did. Hey man, your child will die because of you.
That happened with David.
It happened. Damn, that's crazy how it all works out. It happened with David. For his sin and his transgression, the Lord took his son. David knew what it was. What you really have to understand breaking the law. Breaking the law. You so worried about what Esau might do to you and his nonsense, him locking you up. Man, the Lord will kill you. He will take your life. He won't do that. He'll take your child's life. Take your wife, whatever you love the most, he'll take it from you. Let you suffer for years. Then he'll take you. Yeah, that's the Lord.
It's crazy, but that's why we gotta understand, not just breaking the law, you gotta understand what the truth really is. We think we know what the truth is. That's why I brought up that thing.
Right.
But they say, I'm living my truth. No, you living a lie.
A whole lie.
A whole lie. You like the scriptures say in Isaiah, I believe it's chapter 30, where it says that, speak unto us not right things, but smooth things.
Right.
Because that's what you want to hear. You want to hear smooth things. You want to be told a lie so you can live your life. A lot of our brothers and sisters are somehow convinced that YouTube, don't flag me, but a lot of you are convinced that homosexuality is not a mental disorder.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy because this is not a hate speech. This is strictly for educational purposes. It's actually called gender dysphoria. When you have brothers and sisters who don't want to identify with the gender that they were actually given at birth from the Most High, not because of a birth certificate, but because how you were made in the womb. All right, you got was XY chromosome, all that stuff, all that stuff. You like science, okay? I'll throw that out there for you. My whole point being is, you grow up. Odds are something bad happened to you. You were molested, you did wrong, you never got your justice, or maybe you were groomed slowly.
Right.
Because kids are very impressionable. That's why a lot of parents now, they get upset when they find out that their children being taught sex ed at like first grade.
Right.
So it's crazy.
That's
right. It's a child. They should be worried about sex nothing. They're a kid.
When did you go through sex ed?
I was probably like, like I was like 7th grade.
Yeah, that's around. Yeah, I was like 12, 13, 14. Yeah, I was in middle school.
Yeah, same. So yeah, even that is still kind of
right.
But with kids are children,
right?
Like that, and they're being taught these things, and we are told to just accept it,
right?
Because if you don't, you're a horrible person. So these people grow up with this mental disorder. Like imagine growing up 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years, and you're a grown man, and you're being told you're a girl,
right?
You're a girl. You're treated like a girl. You wear dresses, you play with Barbies. You in your mind, you are conditioned to be a woman.
Right.
And then somebody like us come along and we're like, hey, what's good, bro? And you get confused, like, bro, I identify as this.
Right.
And it's like, brother, you bigger than me. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you a grown man. You like grown, you have a beard.
Right.
I don't care if you got a dress on, you have a beard, okay? But my whole point is, not to talk too long. My whole point is, you live a lie.
Right.
Okay. And these lies, they slowly kill you.
Right.
They kill you. Though that demon in your head, some of y'all be like, well, God be talking to me. That ain't God. That's Satan. You be talking about some, it's y'all try to convince yourself. I remember I knew brothers in the world, maybe like right before they about to commit adultery, meaning they about to sleep with another man's wife, right? And they know it's wrong in their spirit. So it's like they almost seek validation.
That's it.
And they seek validation, man. They start telling their boys, I'm because somewhere in your spirit is wrong. Anyway, you do it, right? And you think that there's nothing wrong with it. It's okay. You convince yourself that it's okay. You tell yourself, well, I didn't know. I don't know no loyalty to him. You know, it is what it is. But then, just like you're gonna suffer the transgressions for your sins, then you get a wife, and then somebody sleeps with your wife, and then you sit here, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. Now the homie's coming up to you like, man, that's so terrible, man. But meanwhile, y'all all do it.
So like,
Go ahead.
this scenario he's saying, that's if you're lucky. A man will kill you for sleeping with his lady.
Yeah, that's the worst one.
It's that like, hey man, how the Lord choose fit to judge you or bring that matter upon you, that's how he sees fit, man. And to save yourself, just don't sin. Become perfect. It is not gonna be overnight, man. Nobody's telling you you found out about the Lord today, you found out about Jesus Christ being black, about you being an Israelite today. Tomorrow you're perfect. It's not what we say when we say be perfect. That's an ongoing process. Even Commander General Hunter would tell you, man, brothers strive every day to be perfect. Imagine if you draw a line from here to there and it's a little bit off. You got to do a little bit of racing and draw it back. That's perfecting yourself, erasing or repenting from what you have done and getting back on point and drawing a line as straight as possible. That's repenting. That's following the law. We don't, even when you come into school, we don't condemn you for breaking the law. That's not what we do.
Right.
We correct you. Get corrected. This brother get corrected. Corrected. We get checked. We get chastised. And you know what? We know why we're getting corrected and chastised. No matter how hard it may seem and how difficult it is to swallow, pause, how difficult it is to take at the time, we understand why. It's to perfect us.
Right.
The truth is perfection.
Right.
God is perfection. That's in Matthew 5:48. Be ye perfect as your Father is in heaven. I'm paraphrasing. Perfect yourself. Get in the truth. Stop sinning. If you don't sin, okay, when you do sin, look at the transgression. Look at the judgment that God puts upon you, bestows upon you. Imagine how great it is when you fight that and you don't sin and you keep the law. Imagine what he would do for you. It's even more great. We live in testimonies of it. That's why we go so hard in this truth. That's why we go so hard in this school. Because we know by serving the Lord, our life has worked out for the better. Right. We know it. Yeah, it's difficult. We go through stuff. We have tests. But we keep this truth. Right. The truth keeps us grounded, and we know the truth will make us free. We free men over here, man. Mm-hmm. It's like if I'm
no, you survive. So we're gonna go over a few things. We're gonna go to First Ezra, right? First Ezra, we're gonna start with chapter 3. We're gonna talk about the importance of the truth and different things that different men bring up to kind of combat the truth and other worldly things, which I'm pretty sure all of us to some extent we can relate to, right? Right. So we'll start with let's see, First Ezra chapter 3. We'll kind of jump around a little bit. So you can start actually. Start at verse 4.
Okay. The book of First Ezra, chapter 3, verse 4. Then 3 young men that were of the guard that kept the king's body spake one to another. Let every one of us speak a sentence. He that shall overcome, and whose sentence shall seem wiser than the others, unto him shall the king Darius give great gifts and great things in token of victory.
Okay, so pretty much give like the brief version, right? There's these 3 men that are under the king, right? And they're proposing kind of like a little contest, a little friendly little contest. Like, you know what? All right, let's propose what we feel is the wisest. You know, what really holds dominion over Israel to the king. Whoever is the wisest, you get the reward. All right, so let's see. Let's jump down to verse 8.
Verse 8, and then everyone wrote his sentence, sealed it, and laid it under King Darius his pillow, and said that when the king is risen, some will give him the writings, and of whose side the king and the 3 princes of Persia shall judge, that his sentence is the wisest, to him shall the victory be given as was appointed. Verse 10, the first wrote, wine is the strongest.
That's the first one.
The second wrote, the king is the strongest. The third wrote, women are strongest. But above all things, truth bears away the victory.
So now, right here, we already see it's kind of giving it away already, Salakia. But it does say, but above all things, truth beareth away the victory. But, they're still going to pretty much shoot their shot as far as what they feel like is the wisest thing or things that really hold dominion over the people. What is the strongest? So the first one wrote, wine is the strongest.
Right.
Second one said, the king is the strongest. The third one says, women are the strongest. So let's get to it then. So matter of fact, you can skip down to, let's see, it says that's men. You can actually just go to verse 17.
Book of 1 Ezra, chapter 3, verse 17. And he said unto them, declare unto us your mind concerning the writings. Then began the first who had spoken of the strength of wine.
So the first one, he's going to be talking about the strength of wine. You know?
And he said, thus, O ye men, how exceeding strong is wine. It causeth all men to err that drink it. It maketh the mind of the king and of the fatherless child to be all one, of the bondman and of the free man, of the poor man and of the rich.
Okay, so I don't want to skip over that one real quick. I just want to give a brief little context to that. So it says, he said, thus, O ye men, have exceeding strong is wine. It causes all men to err, meaning error, right? All men. It doesn't matter what your status is. It doesn't matter how big you are, tall you are, if you're rich, poor, strong, athletic, overweight, whatever. It don't matter. You get enough wine in a brother. This goes for any brother. It don't matter what your rank is. Too much wine. Drinking wine is not a sin. Christ drank wine, right?
First miracle.
But too much, like in 1 Peter 5:8, where it says, be ye sober, be ye vigilant, for your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, coming to seek whom he may devour.
Right.
Meaning, okay, you gotta have a sober mind. Nothing wrong with having a couple drinks with the Akim and nothing like that, but enough will cause any man to err.
Right.
Now, another one I want to touch on, it maketh the mind of the king and of the fatherless child to be all one, of the bondman and of the freeman, of the poor man and of the rich. So what this means is, a lot of times, like it can alter you kind of in a good way too. It's not always negative. Let's say you ever go to like a party. So everybody has different personalities. Some people are more talkative, some people are a little bit more reserved, kind of like whatever, But my point being is, you get enough, a good amount. You may get a little buzz, whatever. Right. People start to, kind of open up more. Right. Feel a little more sociable. You're not so worried about, status. Oh, this brother is this, or I don't know, he looked at me funny. All that kind of goes away. You're just talking. Right. Just having a good time. Because most of the time we go to parties, we have a couple drinks now. The person who might be quiet, now he talking up storm. Right. It just happens, So it's not always a bad thing, but my whole point is an influence. It can cause you to err, which is bad, but it can also make you a little bit more sociable, right? Kind of like evens the playing field. You would normally talk to, let's say, the king on a normal day. You might have kingly duties to tend to. You got other stuff, but then y'all got a couple drinks. Next thing you know, and the king real cool. And he looking at you like, hey, what's your name, bro? Like, you just, now y'all kicking it. That's how it is, right? Let's see. Go to verse 20.
Verse 20. It turneth also every thought into jollity and mirth, so that a man remembereth neither sorrow nor death. And it maketh every heart rich, so that a man remembereth neither king nor governor. And it maketh to speak all things by talents. And when they are in their cups, they forget their love both to friends and brethren, and a little after draw out swords. But when they are from the wine, they remember not what they have done.
Meaning what? You done had too much?
Blacked out.
You done blacked out. Cause you the error. Keep going.
Verse 24. O ye men, is not wine the strongest that enforceth to do thus? And when he had so spoken, he held his peace.
So he's pitching this. All right. He's like, okay. Wine is the strongest thing on the planet because it, long story short, it can influence us. Right. That's his argument, right? Let's see.
What was the second guy?
Second guy, he actually like right there, verse 1. Yeah.
Then the second that had spoken of the strength of the king began to say, O ye men, do not men excel in strength that bear rule over sea and land and all things in them? But yet the king is more mighty, for he is Lord of all these things and have dominion over them. And whatsoever he commandeth them, they do. If he bid them make war the one against the other, they do it. If he send them out against the enemies, they go and break down mountains, walls, and towers. They slay and are slain and transgress not the king's commandment. If they get the victory, they bring all to the king, as well the spoil as all things else.
Yep.
Likewise, for those that are no soldiers and have not to do with wars, but use husbandry, when they have reaped again that which they had sown, they bring it to the king and compel one another to pay tribute unto the king.
So, long story short, this one's piece pitching the idea like, okay, the king is the strongest, meaning whoever is like head honcho. Long story short, this is the main dude. You king, president, whatever. You know, the titles change over the course of time, but to put it in a simple term, king, a man of power, a leader, a ruler, a warlord, if you will, somebody who holds power over the kingdom. One man, right? He said, "You live, you live." He snapped his fingers. You say, "You die," then you get thrown to the chamber. You die, right? So he said, "It's not, it's not the king. It's not man the strongest, because all it takes is a certain brother." Or really not even a brother, it could be any man for that matter, who is successful and ruthless enough to conquer in a sense, right? So it's like, okay, is he not the strongest? I mean, if we really get down to it, we, to a certain extent, you only have like one king at a time, theoretically. So at some point, we all serve the king. You bring your riches to the king. You bring the spoils of war to the king.
Right.
Everything goes back to the king. You in a war, you might get a little, get some praise or whatever, but then the real victory really goes to the king because you serve him. You're under somebody, right? That's your Adawan, if you will, right? Your lord, if you will, right? So some extent, you always go back to the king. So that's his argument, right? His argument is more of a carnal sense, like man is the ruler, right? So we'll skip that, right? Now we'll get to verse 13.
All right. First Ezra chapter 4, verse 13. Then the third, who had spoken of women and of the truth, this is Zerubbabel, began to speak. O ye men, Zerubbabel is an Israelite. Verse 14. O ye men, it is not the great king nor the multitude of men, neither is it wine that excelleth. Who is it then that ruleth them, or hath the lordship over them? Are they not women?
Now, this is a tricky one. Some people might not understand this because, of course, you read the scriptures. We all understand there's a chain of command over every. Of course, there's the Most High. Under the Most High is Christ, and there's man, and there's women. So you're thinking like, okay, well, how can this man sit here and say women are the ones who have rulership?
Right.
How does that make sense? But he starts to break it down. Go ahead.
Verse 15. Women have borne the king and all the people that bear rule by sea and land. Even to them came they, and they nourished them up that planted the vineyards from whence the wine cometh. These also make garments for men. These bring glory unto men, and without women cannot men be. Yea, and if men have gathered together gold and silver or any other goodly thing, do they not love a woman which is comely in favor and beauty? And letting all those things go, do they not gape, and even with open mouth fix their eyes fast on her? And have not all men more desire unto her than unto silver or gold or any goodly thing whatsoever?
So then you stop right there. There's more into that, but we'll stop right there. So I feel like let's be real, a lot of brothers can relate to this. Let's be real right now. What he's saying is, do women literally rule over a man? That's not literally what he's saying. He's saying, again, similar to with the wine, influence. Influence. He's saying, like, aren't we, born from women? Or, before this was king such and such, he was a baby, and his mama was nursing him and changing his diapers, and she knows the mother knows more about him than anybody else, right? You look at this person as king, to her, this is my baby, right? And then it goes more into it, these also make the garments, meaning what? You know, a lot of the glorious garments that you see brothers have, they come from women. The sisters are the ones who make these things, or they'll help brothers make things right. So, you know, we look the way we do because our women make the things for us. You understand? They'll sit there and they'll sew, and you know, they make sure that you're well fed. And this is talking about, you know, a virtuous woman, of course, you know, unless you in the world or you're just a monster. But my whole point being is they do these things for you. It's always the woman. And it says, yea, and if men have gathered together gold and silver or any other goodly thing, do they not love a woman which is comely in favor and beauty? Now, this also ties into today. In today's society, right? Not that I agree with this, but in today's society, especially in American westernized culture, you gotta be, what they be saying, you gotta be a certain height, you gotta make 6 figures, you gotta have all this stuff.
A 6-pack.
Yeah, 6-pack, multiple cars, like really unrealistic.
They don't even have.
So I'm glad you said that. That some of these women don't even have. But you know, one thing they do have, physical beauty.
Right.
So they're pretty. That's all it is. This sister might not even.
Oh, we good.
This sister might not even have a job. Let's keep it above. She might be living with her parents, or she might work at Walmart. But she's beautiful. Like, brothers will stop a wealthy man, even though he's, you know, I guess I'll say high status or whatever, but he'll see this woman and be like, damn, you got a question. Who are you? You got a question?
Yeah.
What's the question?
May I ask, why do the Christians say the Sabbath is on a Sunday and not Saturday?
That's pretty simple. Honestly, so it's on the 7th day. We all know this, right? But the thing is, when you look at the calendar, this is a common mistake that a lot of people make. Actually, we are about to believe that the 7th day is a Sunday. But the thing is, if you all you gotta do, so simple, look at the calendar. If you look at the calendar, what day does it actually start?
Right.
It's not a Monday. That's when we're brought to believe. It's Sunday. The start of the week is actually a Sunday. It's not a Monday. So that 7th day is actually Saturday.
And if I may, Constantine actually started that. I don't know why. Maybe because of Sunday, the sun god.
Yeah.
That's particularly why it starts on the first day, because of Caucasian said it. And like I said, the Psalms, you can't make straight that is crooked. They come crooked from the womb. If the Lord tell you not to be a sodomite, there'll be sodomites. The Lord say the Sabbath day is Saturday, Sabbath day will be Sunday, according to them. Yeah. Just look at it like that. They and also, if we just gonna make it plain and simple, yeah, Christians don't understand the Bible.
No, so
and when you really break it down, they know the Bible. They know they're not supposed to eat pork. They know Saturday is a Sabbath day. They just don't understand it. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. You know, the water. That was a good question. It's like I lost my shit. The whole thing with women. Oh yeah, how today in today's society, at least, you know, a man of high status, he can have all this 6 figure, he can be a multi-millionaire, blah blah. Matter of fact, oh man, this happened not that long ago. I don't know her name. It was a sister. That whole thing with like Home Depot. There was a sister that
she was cute. Yeah.
So she worked there, and I don't remember the whole story, but I remember it was somebody, they leaked her address.
Right.
I don't know, some weirdos were stalking her or whatever. I don't know. I don't really know what became of that whole situation, but I remember because it kind of ties into this. She became viral because she posted a picture of herself at home, you know, working. But a lot of brothers found her very attractive, and you know, one of the people that hit her up was Shaq. That's dude. Do you understand it? It's Shaq. So it's Shaq, multi-millionaire, right? It's Shaq. You like what? 6? No, he's 7. What?
He is 7'1".
7'1". Jeez, that's like
that.
But, yeah. But my point being is, man of high status, but he saw a woman that he thought was beautiful, and she worked at Home Depot. So then, what's up?
How was you finished?
Oh yeah, but long story short, that ties into again influence. There was one more thing. Oh, verse 20, where it says, "A man leaveth his own father that had brought him up, and his own country, and cleaveth unto his wife." You can go all the way back to Genesis for that. Realistically, you know, I'm paraphrasing. When a man and a woman get together, you become one. You know, why do you think we say, "Oh, that's my rib"? Because really, it's a part of you. She's a part of you. Keep that in mind, when you get married and stuff. My whole point being is, there are plenty of brothers who will leave their neighborhood.
Right.
They'll leave their neighborhood. They'll go fly to a different country just to go be with their wife. It ain't nothing wrong with it. It's biblical though.
I took some flights.
You funny. But it happens though. The influence of a woman. Like I remember, I think it was Kat brought this up. Let's say you a homeless man, right? I think you probably know what I'm talking about. Let's say, you homeless,
right?
And you live in a cardboard box. I understand some things just happen,
right?
But then that homeless man, get him a homeless woman. That man about to have the freshest cardboard box out there ever. He got a working toilet. Don't ask me how, but he'll start fixing up things. He start adding stuff. Brothers who ain't really got nothing in their crib. Ain't got nothing in their crib. Now all of a sudden you start buying decorations. You start buying decorations. You start doing certain stuff. Like it's the influence. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, But again, the influence, right? Is the question?
Yeah, it's about the Sabbath.
Go ahead.
It's very simple. As a young man, Jay, if I may, sir, if I'm forced to work on a sundown Friday evening to Saturday morning, how do I deal with this?
Oh, that's simple. So I'm paraphrasing. Where it says you're not supposed to work on the Sabbath, what you got to understand is that we are in captivity. Right. What it really means is do no work on the Sabbath, meaning that this is a time that you're supposed to have a rest, but we understand that we are in captivity. And what you're not supposed to do is put your people to work.
Right.
Like if you own like a little business or something like that, you don't put your people to work. That would be going against the Sabbath. But realistically, we live in Esau's kingdom right now. We understand that this, to a certain degree, is a grace period. If you gotta go to work, like don't be like one of these fake Israelites. I'm paraphrasing. I believe it's Second Maccabees.
When they died.
Yeah, Second Maccabees, and there were some brothers. Think of them as like fake Israelites, and they think that it's the Sabbath. I can't do nothing. And you just sit there. Somebody got a gun to your head. They trying to kill you and your family, but your thought process is, it's the Sabbath. So I can't work. I can't do any work. So I'm just gonna stay here. That's what happened to them brothers. They died. They died. So you take that into context. Is look, if you got to work on a Saturday, you got a slave. Look, the Lord understand. We understand. We got bills to pay. You probably got a family to feed. We understand. If you got to work on a Saturday to feed your family, feed your family. This goes for sisters too. Don't think, okay, well, I'm not gonna work on this day, and then all of a sudden, you start losing hours and you going broke.
Right.
Now you ain't got no place to stay. Don't do that to yourself. That's what a fake Israelite would do. Fake Israelites tell you can't cook on the Sabbath. But then there's multiple scriptures in Leviticus that talk about cooking on a high holy day. So just take that as you will. But yeah, that's what that means. So you good. You're not sinning. Like you work for a slave, whatever. You go work. It's fine. Don't worry about that.
And if I may,
go ahead.
Don't trip on that. Don't trip on that.
Yeah.
If you gotta go to work, hey, take your mind to work, or you're gonna get fired.
Yeah.
Don't get fired because you have to work on Friday, sundown, and Saturday. The Lord's not gonna persecute you or rebuke you for working. You have to go to work. Hey man, we slaves here. This is not our rest.
Yep.
You have to understand it. That's definitely a fake Israelite thing.
Yeah.
They always say you can't work. Now, I would say this: if you have the power or the control not to work on Sabbath, don't go to work on Sabbath. Do not do that. Then you are pretty much breaking it. The Sabbath was made for man. We wasn't made for the Sabbath. Meaning that's your day of rest. You can go play ball. You can go to work if you have to go to work. You can fix on your car. You can do whatever you want to do. You can have a drink with your woman on the Sabbath.
Yeah, you can drink on the Sabbath.
You can do whatever. We drink on the Sabbath. I have to have a drink for the Sabbath service. Don't trip, man. But yeah, any other questions, just let us know.
Yeah. Please ask me questions, anything you need. But to get back to this, so long story short, if I may actually, there is one before we continue with that. Go to verse 23. This is a big one.
The book of 1 Ezra chapter 4, verse 23.
And if I may, this ties into what you brought up earlier. Go ahead.
Yea, a man taketh his sword and goeth his way to rob and to steal, to sail upon the sea and upon rivers, and look up upon a lion, and goeth in darkness. And when he have stolen, spoiled, and robbed, he bringeth them to his love.
I'll let you have that one. Go ahead.
Boy, you would do so much wickedness for a woman. You have to understand, why do you think brothers sell drugs? Why do you think brothers go out here and do crime? They don't really do it because they really want to do it. You're so influenced by the women. You see a brother who does crime as you growing up, and women flocking him because he has money. But the women that are flocking him, they're whores. But anyway, women are flocking around because he has money. The pimp, the dope boy, the liar, the rapper, the thief. They have money, so women flock to them. And that makes any man want those things as well because you're corner-minded. That's what you do. And once you do all that, you're only doing it for a woman. Here's the crazy part. You're going to do all that. You're going to give it to that woman or do it for that woman. You're going to go to prison. That woman's going to keep all that, and she's going to go have sex with the other man who's doing that as well. So you lose twice. You lose the woman, and you lose all the things that you have gone through a life of sin for that woman. You sell the seeds. You travel to go sell drugs. You traffic drugs. You go over there. You go break in the brother's house and rob him so you can have something new. You go steal a car so you can have something new. So a woman can say, ooh, I like that. And then all the while, you go to prison, and that same woman that you call, she's not going to pick up your phone call. And one of your homeboys, one of your so-called friends who are out of prison, who didn't get caught with you, they're going to have sex with her. That's the power of women. The power of it. The power of a woman will make you do crime. The power of a woman will make you not work at McDonald's for $20 an hour. The power of a woman will have you working in prison for 34 cents an hour.
Yeah. Straight like that. Right. Now, tie into this, I don't want any brother to get confused with these scriptures. Like, we're not saying, like, don't get yourself a woman. Like, right. A woman. We're not saying that. Right. But beware of, of course, wicked women. And, there's positive influence and then there's negative influence. That's the basis of this, right? Like it says, like, there were some good things that were said. Women make the garments for you and, mothers and wives, but then also we just read in verse 23, yea, a man taketh his sword and goeth his way to rob and to steal. And another thing that ties into is, a lot of brothers, you'll kill another brother over a whore. A whore. Like a woman will not even, like, this is what happens in the world. This isn't to bash righteous sisters. Right. If this offends you, that means you doing something. Righteous sisters don't get offended by stuff like this because this has nothing to do with them. But for you whores out there who do this type of stuff, and you weak-minded brothers who feed into this crap, Salakia, you will kill each other over a woman. Think about it. You'll find out that your girl is cheating on you, right? And you won't go to her. You'll go to the man that she cheated on you with, have beef with him. Now you done killed him, or vice versa. He done killed you, and she's still gonna go have sex with whoever and go on living. That's a weak-minded man being influenced by very wicked women. What you got out? But we're gonna continue from that, right? We'll go to believe me not. We'll skip that. Kind of tying to what I was talking about earlier. Again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you are. I'm gonna paraphrase real quick. There was a king at the time who had a woman, and pretty much we all knew who ran the pants in that relationship. It says right here, let's see. I'm gonna read it real quick. In verse 29, so this is 1 Ezra chapter 4, verse 29. Yet did I see him in Apame, the king's concubine, meaning his wife, the daughter of the admiral Bardicus, sitting at the right hand of the king, and taking the crown from the king's head, setting it upon her own head, she also struck the king with her left hand. And yet for all this the king gaped and gazed upon her with open mouth. If she laughed upon him, he laughed also. Right. But if she took any displeasure at him, the king was fain to flatter, and she might be reconciled to him again. What that means is, again, it don't matter what you look like. It does not matter what your status is. If you are a weak-minded man and you get with a wicked woman, she will have a negative influence on you. This is a king. Like I brought up earlier, a king If he wants you dead, he'll have you dead.
Right.
You offend him, off with his head. But then, a woman, let her, not for real. Like, think about it. Like, let a brother smack you in the face.
Right.
Oh, you're gonna want to kill him.
Off with his head.
You're gonna want to kill him. Like, that's it. But his wife, who he loves so much, she smacked him in the face. And then it's like, she'll laugh. It's, oh, haha, you so funny, babe. Because he's weak-minded.
Right.
All right. That's a negative influence. All right. So this is what all ties into, right? This is where we're going with this. Long story short, these are all the various things that can have influence on man.
Right.
So we talked about wine, we talked about the king,
right,
and then we talked about women. But there was one more thing at the very end. We're going to skip farther down, right? So we're going to actually go to, I believe it's 34. 34? Yeah, kind of. Is it? No, actually, so he began to speak of the truth. Go to 32.
All right, cool. The book of 1 Ezra, chapter 4, verse 32.
Go ahead.
O ye men, how can it be but women should be strong, seeing they do thus? Then the king and the princes looked one upon another, so he began to speak of the truth.
The truth. Go ahead.
O ye men, are not women strong? Great is the earth, high as the heaven, swift as the sun in his course. For he compasseth the heavens round about, and fetcheth his course again to his own place in one day. Is he not great that maketh these things? Therefore great is the truth, and stronger than all things.
And what?
And stronger than all things.
Keep going.
All the earth calleth upon the truth, and the heaven blesseth it. Mm-hmm. All works shake and tremble at it. Mm-hmm. And with it is no unrighteous thing. Wine is wicked. The king is wicked. Mm-hmm. Women are wicked. All the children of men are wicked. And such are all their wicked works. And there is no truth in them. In their unrighteousness also they shall perish. As for the truth,
go ahead.
It endures,
yep,
and is always strong. It liveth and conquereth forevermore.
So stop right there. So that's the whole basis of it, right? These are all different influences. There's many things that influence you in this world. Your mother, your father, sister, brother, a woman, somebody who's above you. It can be a lot of different things, but you need to understand that the truth is above all these things. It does not matter. Because think about it, you followed everything else. You tried it. We all have. We've all tried it. There's plenty of people that sell drugs. There's plenty of people who are whoremongers. Right. There's sisters who are prostitutes. There's brothers who are wicked as hell, murderers, right, who would sleep with another man's wife, right, or brothers who are, I don't know, alcoholic, crackhead, whatever, right? Been through all types of stuff. You tried it all. But there's one thing a lot of people don't want to hear, and that's the truth. You don't want to be held accountable for your actions, right? Because you want to know what it is. It's not even you. I'm going to go a little deeper. It's not even you. It's the demon in you that does not want your spirit to change. Right. That's what it is. You got anything before I go to the other precepts?
If I could, let me finish 39, if I may.
Go ahead.
The book of 1 Ezra, chapter 4, verse 39. With her, there is no accepting of persons or rewards, but she doeth the things that are just, and refraineth from all unjust and wicked things. And all men do well like of her works. Neither in her judgment is any unrighteousness. And she is and she is the strength, kingdom, power, and majesty of all ages. Blessed be the God of truth. Verse 41. And with that, he held his peace. And all the people then shouted and said, great is truth, and mighty above all things.
There you go. So it's plain and simple, right? The truth endureth all, man. If I could real quick, I'm actually already here. I'll read it real quick. 2 Timothy. We're going to go to 2 Timothy. We're going to go to verse, I believe it's 3 and 16. So it's the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3, verse 16. All scripture is given by inspiration of God, for it is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of God may be perfect, thoroughly furnished unto all good works. Meaning what? All scripture is given by inspiration of God. This is for you Christians out there. I gotta get on y'all real quick. All right, just once. You Christians who love to challenge or try to, I call it mental gymnastics. Y'all like to make up y'all own truth. You want to live your truth. You want to say good, sweet things, things that make you feel good. Sometimes the truth don't feel good. It's like medicine, right? Sometimes like the herbs and stuff that you're supposed to take as medicine, which y'all be want to smoke it, it don't taste good. A lot of medicine does not taste good. Let's be real right now. It's good for you. It's good for the body, all right? And you don't want to hear these things because it causes slakia. The demon in you does not want your spirit to change, and you're losing that battle. You become that demon's best friend. It's your best friend. You can't go to sleep without him. You sleep with him.
Right.
You sleep with the demon. All right? And you can't get rid of him, and you're just, I love smoking weed. It made me feel good. That's what you always love to say. But it comes from the earth. I hate it when people say that mess. Because everything comes from the damn earth. Yeah. Right? That cocaine that you be snorting comes from the earth. It comes from the cocoa leaf. Heroin comes from the earth. Tobacco is literally a plant. You get it from the earth. Everything comes from the earth. I don't mean smoke it and do vile things with it. Right. But that's what you tell yourself. So it says, all scripture is given by inspiration of God. This is for you Christians out there who like to say, well, God talks to me. I don't follow the Bible because the Bible was written by man. That is the biggest hypocrisy I've ever heard.
How do you learn anything?
Because what it really is you've made your connection with a demon. That ain't God talking to you. All scripture is given by inspiration of God. So when you see brothers read from these scriptures, when some of you sisters get upset, when you say, when we say, a woman is not allowed to teach the Bible, but then you want to be a pastor at some church, and we challenge you and say, no, you're not supposed to do that. And you want to go around it and say, I can do this because blah, 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 some bull crap you made up. But we'll go through the scriptures and say, no, it says right here that, I'm paraphrasing, I suffer not a woman to teach. There are certain things that she can, but there's certain things that she cannot. You're not supposed to be all these things. Some of y'all like to use the term prophetess. I had to get into this one. Y'all hear that word prophetess and think that y'all can teach the Bible. Right. No. When you actually look at the biblical meaning of what a prophetess is, it actually means the wife of a prophet. Not you're ordained to teach the Bible. That's not what it means. For you brothers out there who love to somehow twist the doctrine, some of y'all fake Israelites try to teach that there's such thing as corrective rape, which is absolutely slagia. That's just wild to me. Because you can read so many scriptures why that's so wrong. Some of you pastors who will rock a rainbow flag for the LGBTQ community, and then you'll go into a Christian church and say, oh, God loves me. But it literally said that that's an abomination according to the Most High. You say God hates the sin, but not the sinner. But it clearly says in the Bible, I believe it's in Ecclesiasticus, where it said that God hates a sinner. It's all right there, right in front of you, which dials into my next precept. We're still in 2 Timothy. We're going to go to chapter 4, verse 3. 2? I got you. So verse 2. Preach the word by instant, in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort, with all long suffering and doctrine. Verse 3. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned unto fables. But watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist. Wow. Make full proof of thy ministry. For I am now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand. Long story short, this was already prophesied. I swear the Bible ain't real. This was prophesied. Where all these, I'm paraphrasing, beware of false prophets. That's in the scriptures too, right? Malachi 2:7, where it says that, let me just get that real quick. You got to Malachi 2:7.
The book of Malachi, chapter 2, verse 7.
Go ahead.
For the priest's lips,
go ahead,
should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth. For he is the messenger of the Lord of hosts.
So the messenger of the Lord of hosts. Long story short, I'm paraphrasing again, Salakia. The Lord is not the author of confusion. Okay, so you're the messenger. I didn't write this. We didn't write this. We're just reading what's been out for thousands of years.
Right.
This is old. Scholars today are still trying to figure out how old the Bible is. They still don't know. They think they found out, then they found an older Bible. And then they try to decipher that. My point being is, there ain't nothing new under the sun.
Right.
Everything that we are saying has been made out for thousands and thousands of years. And it says, I'm going to go to verse 16 one more time. All scripture is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. You cannot get away from this.
Right.
You can try. You can say whatever you want. God loves me, but I'm LGBTQ. No, you don't. I know I sin, but God still loves me. No, you don't. I love Christ. No, you don't. If you sin, you don't love him. No, you don't. You're a liar. You're a liar, and you're lying to yourself. You're lying. Right. You're a liar. And Lord forbid you. Oh my gosh, you a pastor, because you're the worst of the worst. It's one thing to be a sinner, but now you're teaching other people to sin while you're molesting little boys behind curtains.
Right.
Because a lot of y'all are pedophiles. It's not hate speech. YouTube, don't flag me. I'm just being real. That is the reality a lot of us have to live in. Y'all still follow this Europeanized Christianity, but y'all found out the Pope was a child molester multiple times. There are Jewish rabbis who suck the rods of babies when they're circumcised and have given them herpes. Like, come on, man. Y'all are sick. But it's okay. The truth shall endure forever. It's like, that's all. You got anything?
One body, one way, one mind, one spirit. Brothers move as one unit. Whatever answer this brother got to the question, I probably got that answer too. Whatever you've learned, I've learned. Whatever I don't know, I ask him. If he don't know, he ask a brother higher than him. If he don't know, he ask a brother higher than him. He don't know, so forth and so on. One body. This is the truth. This is the truth. No other doctrine. No other doctrine. That is why all these other Israelite groups fail. Yep. That is why if you don't follow us, you're going to fail. You're going to fail. The Lord has brought us up last because every other doctrine, every other religion on this earth has failed blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You've been everything but a part of One West. You've even joined fake Israelite groups. And you know what happens to people in fake Israelite groups? The ones who wake up, the ones the Lord chose, they come home. Yep. They come home. They come to One West. I don't know what else to tell you. Keep the law, statutes, commandments. Stay in the truth. The truth will make you free. Man, we do this over and over. We got classes every day. If you bored, go watch an old class. I pull up some class from 5 years ago. Guess what? The truth never changed. Same thing I heard 5 years ago. Same thing I hear from today. Like, hey, it don't change. Another brother said from 6, 7 years ago. Guess what? One of these brothers, we ain't doing nothing but repeating what we've been told. That's what we've learned, and everything that we've been told and what we've learned is proven in the Bible. The truth. The truth. This is the only place where you'll find it. I yield.
That's it, man. You got anything before we end the class?
Nah, sir.
Yeah. But I just want to say, so that's the whole purposes of the class. Like, the truth is going to endure forever, right? You can keep living a lie if you want to. You're dead inside. Like the brother brought out earlier, you're not going to die. Sometimes you might not die immediately.
Right.
That's easy. That's the easy way out. You know,
it's easy.
You know, you get into a car crash, you die instantly. That's mercy if you really think about it.
Right.
Because you just done. But like you brought up earlier, there are brothers who have lost their children. Saul was wicked as hell. Jonathan was a righteous young man. He died.
Right.
David's child, his first child, died.
Right.
Because he committed adultery. Got a man killed and he committed adultery and slept with another man's wife. Samson, you know, he was messing around with them Philistine women, prostitutes at that. And you know, his parents, they tried to talk some sense into him. Mr. Samson was strong. He was breaking people's jaws and killing them with the jawbone of a donkey. That's right. Crazy. And even in the end, you know, he took some people with him. He took some Philistines with him, but he died.
Right.
Solomon, he lost his way because he chose to sin. He got away from the truth. You understand? I forgot. What's that other? I can't think of his name right now. There's a king who's married to Jezebel.
Oh, I forget. Was it Ahab?
Ahab.
I
think it was Ahab. Slagia. I think it was Ahab.
Don't quote us.
Yeah, don't quote Abba Slagia. I'm paraphrasing. I believe it was Ahab, and he was that brother was weak. Like Jezebel was known. Like that name still carries weight today. She was known. She was the prophet killer. She was getting prophets killed, and he was going right along with it.
Yeah.
And she wasn't even, you know, it's crazy. She wasn't even Israel. She was a Hittite. She was a Hamite. All right. Long story short, we all throughout the Bible, like we brought up earlier, things that happened before time event for our learning. Like these were put here to teach you a lesson, the good and the bad. Learn what to do, learn what not to do.
Right.
But above all, listen to the Most High, stay in the truth, because you want to live a lie, okay? You're gonna die. Maybe not now.
Just like Saul.
Yeah. Maybe not now. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe not even in 10 years. You might live a long life, and all your children might die. Now you have that's painful. That's all I got on that. You know, so really stay in this truth. Understand how important and powerful the truth truly is. And like Scripture say, you know, the truth is what's going to set you free. And with that, for everybody that tuned in, we had our ICBK, that's School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander Jeremy Hanna, and we are not affiliated with any of the Hebrew Israelite group.
Right.
For anybody that watched the water, if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. And with that, we're going to end the class.
Sure.